Welcome to anyone who catches this, first episode of Hot Drops, number one. Where this is kind of like just a show where we get together and talk about the hottest, the most fire video games, movies, TV, and everything in between. I'm one of your hosts, Dylan, alongside my co-host, Josh, and today we'll be discussing and reviewing, drumroll please, give me a beat. Just kidding, I know it's going to take too long, The Last of Us Part 2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, dude. All right, well, fuck it, Josh. Let's just get right into it, man. Before we get like really into it, before we get in that nitty gritty, bro. Let's talk about I mean, we've kind of been talking about it before, leading up to launch, like how hyped we've both been, but like, I want to hear it from your mouth, bro. Like, what were your expectations? Like leading up to launch.
So I have a thing where when I'm really hyped for a game, I just have to like not think about it. So like I did not. I tried not to talk about it until then, but like as the days got closer, like it just kind of like the hype just overtook, and I could not stop thinking about it. And I just kept on just like imagining what it was gonna feel like once it finally got here. And
it's almost impossible,
That's what I'm saying. Like that last day before it released, was like, man, I was at work and I was like, come on, just let me go home.
Dude,
let it be 9 o'clock already.
Yeah, dude, straight up unreal. I mean, obviously everyone and their mom has been hyped for it since that first teaser, and that's.
Yep.
I honestly didn't even know. I mean, I knew in my heart that there's gonna be a sequel, but I had no idea where it could go,
Yeah.
And definitely had no idea that it would be what it is, And I feel like that's the same for a lot of people. But I mean, we'll get to that, I guess, man. But yeah, dude, the hype was insane. Obviously,
it was up there, bro. Like,
we were like texting about it, ever since. But it's just like ever since before, so. But dude, yeah, I don't know, just me personally, like, especially like that month before, I feel like I was like, I finished my second Grounded playthrough, and then just went into Left Behind with you on that one, dude, and like I think that was just such a good trade-off going from Left Behind to Part 2.
Yeah, it was a good segue, because that was like, oh, here's a little snippet of the beginning of Ellie's story. And then we just got Ellie, like a game of just Ellie's story.
Just Ellie the game, bro, which I'm not complaining.
Me either.
Yeah, dude, I definitely think that was just the way to go. I'm super glad we did that, because I've never played Left Behind. I don't think you did either, and that was really interesting story. Like you said, it's just like all Ellie, and it's cool because it ties into like when Joel got injured, and then it bounces between that. And then you get her like flashbacks with Riley, and you just get to see more of who Ellie was before, pre-Joel.
Yep.
Which is really cool. But shit, man. What were your like just surface level impressions once you hit credits for Part 2, bro?
Surface level impressions. I like the first thought that went to my mind was like
as soon as you hit credits.
Like I was like, wow, like.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm gonna pause you real quick.
Yeah.
For any one person that catches this podcast early on, this is obviously gonna be like spoiler riddled, so just spoiler warning on that. Just giving everyone a heads up. So yeah, go for it.
All right, but yeah, I like once those credits hit, and I'm gonna talk about spoilers now, but yeah, pretty much when right when you just see that Ellie, like that scene when she went back to the house and everything, and she just that guitar scene where she tried to play but she had lost her fingers and everything. It's that sense of like despair and like the amount of loss that they just they portrayed in the story.
So bleak, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like I thought Last of Us 2 or the first one, I mean, their story when it ended, it just gives you like a sense of like, what now? Like it was just like
hurted, bro.
That's what I'm saying. And then like the second game, like you have Ellie, like you went through all of this, and then at the end of the day, like she I don't know, she realized that no, obviously she realized she didn't the killing Abby wouldn't be like what's the word? A composure.
I mean, I don't know. I know what kind of word you're trying to think of. I'm kind of blanking on it too, but.
Oh, closure. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, she realized it wouldn't be like the closers that she needed. Probably the one she wanted, but she didn't need it. But like
I mean, at
that,
that point, yeah, they've been through so much throughout the whole game.
but
You know.
yeah, like I have never seen like a movie, a game, or like a book or anything like capture that much sense of loss in like just like a scene like that. Like,
Hmm.
and that's like what I think brings this game's story. Like, see, a lot of people call it a masterpiece. I think I would agree with that. It is a masterpiece in a sense of like the and like how the story was pulled.
I think
Or
I know what you're trying to say. Like if I could just intervene real quick, like I feel like
yeah,
because this is what I think is I definitely agree with anyone who wants to call it a masterpiece. I'm not saying it's not a masterpiece.
Mhm.
There's definitely elements that make it a masterpiece, whether it's
There we go.
the
Yeah.
gameplay, the score, how everything hits you. Like everything hits you. Like even the story alone. Like in a lot of cases, it's written as just fire, bro. Just like to get street talk in there, like it's so
Mhm.
good. In well, there's parts of it that are really good. I'm not like trying to hype up the story. Like
Yeah.
I think for me, it is, it's a story. It's a great story, and it's something I've never experienced, or like something fresh
Yeah.
that's out there in the media. And there are definitely, like anyone who says it's a masterpiece. I'm not gonna say no, it's not, but um, just kind of where I'm at is like definitely a masterpiece, and it definitely falls with that lineup of the Sony hitters like Spider-Man and God of War, in my
Yep.
opinion. And I think it does what you're gonna laugh. Death Stranding didn't do for me. You know what I mean? Like it had all this hype, and it delivered to me, and um, that's what I think. I agree that it's a masterpiece, but like
Yeah.
coming from my mouth, I'm trying to word this in like
Wait,
not
are
a
we
way to
talking
shit.
about Death Stranding right now,
No,
or
no, The Last of Us. I would
Okay,
just use
gotcha.
Death Stranding as a
Yeah, yeah,
comparison
yeah.
where I think The Last of Us does what Death Stranding
Yeah.
didn't, even though I was so I was so hyped for Death Stranding, and I'm like, I couldn't even finish. I mean, I just didn't get to finish the game. I probably will
Yeah.
at some point, but it's just that's a game where it's like there's a lot of elements lacking for me personally. Even though I did have fun with what I did play, I just like this is kind of a chore. But going back to
Yeah.
The Last of Us, it's like I definitely think it falls into that same conversation of God of War level, Spider-Man level, the Sony hitters. That's what I'm trying to say. And
Yeah.
I think it's a masterpiece in that sense, but it doesn't mean that there isn't flaws. And I think that's what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah, yeah, but at the same time, I think every masterpiece. I mean, nothing's perfect, so like I still think masterpieces are allowed to have flaws. It's just a
Oh,
matter of
100%.
like
Yeah.
whether those flaws break. Like
Mhm.
it's masterpiece worth. But I mean, a lot of people I've been seeing like agree that those flaws did break, but like I don't know, like when I think of the masterpiece, I'm just talking about the story, not necessarily like the gameplay in the sense. Even though the gameplay, I don't know if we want to put that in a different section of this conversation, but
No, you go for it.
like the gameplay, technical wise, like this game is a masterpiece as well. Though, like maybe not
Oh,
like the actual
100%.
mechanics, because for me the gameplay mechanics were. So when I was replaying the first Last of Us, I actually like
Uh-huh.
when playing it. There was like, I don't know if it's just the way I play games, but like I don't think that gameplay like supports different play styles that well. Like, well,
You're saying this one or the first one?
kind of both, because I mean they both generally like two doesn't really like deviate too far from the original gameplay mechanic
Yeah.
loops and all that.
If anything, it improves on
Yeah,
it.
they just all in and improved every aspect of it.
Yeah.
But this also could just be me talking because when I did replay Last of Us, the first one, it wasn't grounded, so you could only pretty much do stealth in there.
Yeah. Or cheese.
That's what I'm saying. So like maybe I was limiting myself because in the second one too, I also played on the hard difficulty, not the hardest, but like it still became like I had to pretty much stealth the whole time. But at the same time, like the way I play every game, like no matter what, like even Assassin's Creed or whatever, I'm like the
Mhm.
kind of person that just runs in and just wants to like start the giant brawl and just
Just
take
you want
everybody
the
out.
smoke, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I mean, I literally tried to give everyone hands on part two for like as long as I could, but like it just became to
I
a
know.
point where I'm like, they're spawning too many enemies. But that's also the kind of like what the first game was missing too, is it just didn't feel like there was enough enemies, which they did on the second. But I don't know, like maybe if like I played on like normal, or I mean there is even modifiers in the game, so you could actually like,
Yeah, you could do custom
yeah, you could literally like tailor the
experience.
yeah, exactly, to how you want to play it. But like I don't know, like I'm the type of person like, oh, if it's on hard, I want whatever the default
Throw
what
at
they
you, yeah.
envisioned hard was, so I just
Oh
left
yeah,
it there.
100%.
So
I totally agree with that. And like you're saying, going back to the melee, because once you get the melee down in this game, I'm like, well, this shit's low key. I mean, when they revealed it on that state of play,
it's Dark
like
Souls.
like you
It's just
said,
Dark
you're like,
Souls.
dude, that's some Dark Souls shit.
That's
Which
what
is,
I'm saying.
I'm a slut for that kind of shit, bro. Like,
Exactly.
getting that. All it's missing is a parry, but it wouldn't really make sense in this game,
Yeah.
But no, like you got to learn. I mean, they say you got to low key learn enemy patterns, but really it's like two different enemy types. Like one person will throw one more set of hands, which ain't that crazy, but it's still fun. Like just that evade button alone is spices it up enough. But like you're saying, how the first game, I bet you could, yeah, I bet you really could melee through the whole thing, except for the bloaters, which obviously you just sneak by.
Yep.
But I really do think, in this game, I don't see it being possible because you said there's too many enemies. Once you get to, I mean, we already said spoilers, but like once you get to playing as Abby, it's like she don't even got a knife unless you got Shiv, so you can't take Clicker's hands.
Yeah, I literally
Left hand.
too, like I remember like when the game first started too. I was like, oh, when I was Ellie, because she has her little knife that she got. So,
Yeah, Switchblade, bro.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, thank God there's no shiv mechanics in this game anymore. And
I
then
know.
and then Abby hit, and I was like, oh, I spoke way too soon.
I know. What sucked about that too, um, well, I don't know. It's just something to adapt to. It doesn't really take from the
Mhm.
game for me personally. It's just like you're so used to Ellie in the beginning, and then they throw this Abby at you, and you're like, oh no, I'm gonna take this clicker after I throw a bottle in its face. Like, nope, you gotta have a shiv, bro. Like,
Yeah.
or a melee weapon.
But the one thing they did for
So,
Abby though was, one, she could craft ammo, and two, they dropped her so much ammo. Like I was playing on hard, and I was on max
mhm.
ammo all the time still. Like, so it's
Yeah,
like
I think. Yeah,
less
definitely.
stealth gameplay for Abby, but like you just had to like, and like the fight sequences that they put Abby in, like they would summon so many enemies that you would you could not stealth. You had to fight.
Bro, I'm gonna just say it right now. Like Abby had the worst 3 days. All right.
She did. Like on
just,
I,
just what?
I liked Abby's character more than Elliot by the end of this game. Like
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
by the end, like that final fight, I was like, Abby, just break Ellie's neck or something. Don't, you
No
gotta
way,
you gotta
that's crazy.
like, I actually like was rooting for Abby. And the crazy part too is, I right when I got to play Abby, and like they put us in her shoes, I was like, yo, I hate this game. Like they're never gonna make me like Abby. And then like 2 days in,
Damn,
like
that's
I'm like, oh,
that's
I actually
really
like this
interesting, bro.
character a lot.
I honestly didn't expect. Not. I don't mean like in a bad way. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah, no.
that's really interesting. I didn't expect you to even bring that up. That's pretty interesting because, like, I definitely agree to the part where once it said Seattle day one for Abby, I'm like,
Yep.
I kind of rolled my eyes. And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, am I gonna hit 3 full days of just Abby? And I'm
Mhm.
like, was low key. I was just riding on such a high of the game from start to that moment when I see Seattle day one and it starts you off as Abby. I rolled my eyes just because once in that point, first playthrough, I'm like, I don't give a fuck, bro. I just want to like, what's going on with Ellie? Like, she's
Mhm.
like, Tommy's about to die. Jesse just died. It's like, get me back there. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? So I was kind of like really bummed, and that was my first drawback of the game,
Mhm.
to be honest.
Me too. Me
And
too.
and that was just the start. And then once Abby's day one ends, I'm actually on my second playthrough right now, and I'm just about to finish up Abby's day one, and it's like where she gets taken by the scars. She's tied up and shit.
Yeah.
I think once it gets there, it picked up for me, especially on first playthrough. I was like, okay, this is interesting. We're getting more scar shit.
Mhm.
And like by the second day, I want to say the first third of the second day, I was already sold on Abby. I'm like, all right, this ain't that bad. This is pretty hot because, like you said, with Abby, there is hell. Yeah, I played on normal difficulty, but just going back to, you don't like stealth isn't necessary because this girl is literally the female version of Kratos, bro.
She's
She
yeah, she's a
smashes
tank,
heads.
bro.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's just a Leviathan axe laying down somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. There's actually a funny thing because I was watching. Like right after I beat any game, the first thing I do is I go on YouTube, I go on Twitch, and I watch just people's reaction to like
Yeah.
the key parts of the games. And one of my favorite streamers' name is like C's. He pretty much beat the game over like the course of last week.
24 hours. Oh, never mind.
Or no, was it? No, oh, it wasn't C's. It was Hassan. He's like a political streamer for the most part, but he also plays games every once in a while. But he played that because he saw all the reviews and stuff saying it was such a bad game and everything and all. So he's like, oh, I gotta see it for
Yeah, I
myself.
wanted to see what it's about.
But like, and he's pretty good at being not biased towards any side. But like when he got to Abby part, everyone gave him that in his chat was just flaming like, oh, we hate Abby. And he was like, yo, like when you think about Abby's storyline, Abby is literally just Joel. Like, well, think about it. They're both edgy.
Yeah,
kind of
100%.
edgy. They're both kind of got that like, they got
Well, they're both
toxic
lost.
masculinity. That he
Yeah.
was just going off, but like when he said that too, that made me think like Abby really is just Joel. Like when you think about their personalities a lot.
And her whole like arc for sure.
Yeah. So like
I mean, I saw a tweet saying this week saying, I mean, it's a subjective tweet, but it's like I hella agree with it. Where it's like, if you don't like Abby, then like you're not allowed to like Joel. Like that's all the tweet said. And I was like, if you understand Abby's journey, then that makes sense to me. You know what I mean?
yeah, like
Because otherwise, you're just sexist. You know?
yeah, like it could be like them being sexist. It could just be like they're Joel simps or something, bro. Like people just.
Sure.
One thing I saw in all these like Twitter threads where people were just so mad that they killed Joel, but like
Yeah, and honestly, I take that back. I don't mean like you're not just sexist if you don't like Abby. You could have whatever reason you want to like
Yeah.
Abby. I'm just saying like there's a lot of people out there that are just blowing it way out of proportion
yeah,
on the media, and I don't know. I mean, you're open to your opinion, but I just feel like from what I've seen, it's just all been, especially I don't know if you've been following like Neil Druckmann, but he's been
Yeah, I
like,
follow him.
him and his like Naughty Dog crew have been like posting the harassment they've been getting, and it's a lot of like sexist.
yeah, no, that's
Kind of
that's
shit,
like,
which isn't cool. Like, so that shit doesn't fly, and it's obviously not cool. But it's like, I mean, I'm sure other people have reason. Like, my first reason for hating, I never really hated Abby. I mean, my first reason for hating Abby was Kay and my boy Joel, because I mean, we're all lying if we're not Joel Sims,
yeah,
But then you get to go through her journey and you understand, like by the first flashback I was all like, oh shit, that's her dad, huh? And that's probably the surgeon in the beginning, because they wouldn't just show that for no reason. And then what do you know, that's what happens. And at the end of the day, it's not like this is the reason that needs you to be like, you need to like Abby now. It's just more like you just got to understand Abby at the end of the day is like whoever I've talked to after beating this game, like what I always go back to is Abby is just doing what anyone, not even just Joel, what anyone would do in her shoes, with her scenario,
Yep. Like that's what I like thought too. Like like people put Joel on such a high pedestal because of the character. We all love him, but like when you think about what he did, like
Selfish.
it was like one of the worst things you could have done for humanity at that point, because he pretty much
Oh, it
gave
was.
like. Or like killing Abby's dad, the doctors that were gonna.
The only person who could do the cure.
Yeah, which I
Like, even
still
if-
I think
yeah.
that's kind of cap. Like this is the only guy that can make a cure. I think it's just
Yeah,
like a
it's a
matter
little
of
out
like
there.
this is the only guy we currently have that we know could make the cure. But like, maybe that's like if they do plan on making a part 3, which I hope they do. But like,
Okay.
they could like deliberate on that or whatever that's going to. I don't
Yeah,
know. Like,
I want to go back to that just so we don't segue off where we were. I have a little note that
Yeah.
we'll definitely go back on if there's a third game, but yeah, I thought it was a little out there that they're like, come on, this is the only guy that could do it. Like,
Yeah.
was he just the biggest brain on the planet?
that's what I'm saying. Like we killed MODOK. Like this is it. Like
I know. Yeah,
But-
I mean, but I get it for the sake of the story, and like I don't know how small they want to make it or how bad the pandemic really was, but
Yeah.
I definitely that like finding out that it was her dad like wasn't the thing that swayed me to be like, oh, I'm Team Abby. It's just like no, she's just like I just see her as doing
Yeah.
whatever Joel would do, whatever anyone like what I would do if you killed my dad.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's what
You
I'm
know what I
saying.
mean?
Like,
So
if when you
it's
think about it
already
too,
justified.
like Abby did what Ellie would have done too in that situation. Like, I mean,
100%.
Ellie did do what Abby did. Abby killed Joel, which was practically Ellie's dad. You know, at that. You
Yeah,
know,
that's all it is.
that was
Eye
her
for an
father
eye,
figure.
even though she's not meaning to do that. She's just avenging her dad, which is totally justifiable.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. There's just so many parallels with these characters. Like, it's like
Yeah,
if you hate
100%.
one, it's kind of awkward because like the
It
other
doesn't
two
make sense.
characters. Yeah, like the other characters went through
Yeah.
the same thing.
Like you could, like I think, what majority people could agree with would be like, at the end of the day, we all want to play as Ellie. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like at the end of the day, that's who. If you go into the game blind, that's what you care about is what's happening with Ellie. But it's like the Abby thing. I'm not mad about. Am I gonna
not
admit the
either.
first day? Yeah, I was bummed that I'm gonna have to fucking hit 3 whole days with her, but I was already sold once I'm just like thinking and the way they pull off Abby's arc. I think is great, and it definitely makes it interesting. It's not boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The one thing, so
Um,
I had this. All right, I'll let you finish your thought.
no,
first.
I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay, for sure. One thing I discussed with one of my friends, which I have to remember exactly how we said it, but I think the pacing of the game, not the pacing, I just felt like the game was like, it was kind of like jigsaw puzzled where like everything was kind of scattered.
Mm.
Like I feel like remember when we listened to Hollywood Bleeding and we were like, "Yo, this is out of order," and we fixed it.
Yeah, yeah.
I felt I 100% felt like that's what this game
Really?
suffered from. So watch.
Okay.
Let me. I have to remember how we described it. We like spent literally like 5 hours talking about how we would have made it.
You and your
Um,
boys are all on the same page on that.
Yeah, like we literally just spent because we were disagreeing with each other and everything, and like just trying to figure out like that
All right.
perfect.
Well, I want to
timeline.
hear your big thick edition.
That's what I'm.
Your thick edition.
This was like
order. Well, how would you do it?
okay, so I remember
not including the flashbacks.
no, we threw in the flashbacks too because we like put in
Okay.
every aspect of the game to see like oh could every scene work and you know like if there is a something that you had to cut out and at the beginning we thought you had to put out the flashbacks because like they kind of threw the game in an awkward place but what we decided was like pretty much when you press start you start Seattle day one with Abby and then like
Yeah.
pretty much you go through hers so you'll have that sense of like where's Ellie, where's Joel, which you know you're you're gonna have those people that are like oh who's this, you know, I don't want to play her, but that's also what happened when they gave us Abby like in the final product. When we hit Abby we're like who's this, I mean well not who's this but like everyone was like oh I don't want to play her, but like
Yeah. That's literally everyone's reaction.
after what we had saw before that, which is you know the theater scene where Abby you know got back over there,
Mm-hmm.
that was such a high tension moment where it was like it felt awkward to jump back to the beginning of Abby's like out of nowhere, and I just feel like that was like maybe not the worst place they could have
killed
put
the
it, but
pacing
like
for
it
that,
was
'cause, like,
definitely like really awkward, like
a
cause
halt.
yeah, because like you said earlier too, and like everyone I've talked to about it too, like it just like right when you got there, like yo, I don't want to do this. Give me throw me back to Ellie, you know, like. So we agreed that like if you start the game with Abby, it wouldn't put that oh I don't want to do this. Give me back Ellie instead, but more like you're like all right, where's Ellie and stuff. But because we agreed
So
that
you're
no
thinking
matter
it should be flipped.
yeah, it could be flipped because no matter what you do with Abby's part, wherever you put it, I feel like there's always gonna be like who like why am I playing this girl? You know, like
Mm-hmm.
why what you know where's the main characters? So it's like where is the best place you could put this in terms of like story flow? But pretty much we decided Abby first. You go all the way, do her story, because if you played as Abby and you don't even know she killed Joel, then you're like, why am I even playing this character? You know, like then there's
So
like
yeah, wait, how do you open that then? You
That's
have
that-
her starting in the snow with Owen and then finding Joel and Tommy. And
not
just go
even
from there.
that. You save that for the
Midway.
no you do all the way to 3 up until the theater scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she gets there, and then you see Tommy. That'd be like the second time you see Tommy before the sniper fight you had in like day 2.
Yeah. Fire,
So
by the way.
yeah, because then the player will be like, "Yo, why is Tommy shooting this chick?" Like because that'll be the first time you've ever heard about Tommy in the game.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh shit, who is this mystery person? And probably
Yeah.
everyone would think, oh, this is Joel or Ellie. And then you go, oh shit, Tommy? The fuck?
Yeah, then you fight Tommy. Then the next scene is like she goes back to the aquarium, sees Owen and Mel dead. You're like, yo, who killed and the dog? And you're like, yo, who killed these guys? And then she sees the map. Then she goes to the theater, and then she see Tommy again there, and she like roughs down Tommy. And then the next thing you see is Jesse and Ellie pop out, and you shoot Jesse, and then Ellie's there, and she's like, whoa. And then the first thing Ellie says is like, oh, don't hurt Tommy,
Yeah,
or
I'm the
something
one you
like
want.
that. I'm the one you want. I know what Joel did. And then that would be the scene where you put in
You switch to where Abby killed him.
yeah, it would be like you switch to Ellie, but I think you put the flashback first. Of
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, you have them all there, and she's about to golf club his ass.
yeah, then you put that. And then now you'd have that sense of hate
to
for
Ellie.
Abby after have playing this character that maybe hopefully it landed, and you started liking her like how it happened organically for everyone else like during the actual playthrough, because now you're like you went from like oh this character grew on me to like I hate this character, and then
You got it over with.
they swap you to Ellie in the Jackson
Full on hate revenge train.
Or actually, no. We said after the flashback with killing Joel, you hit like I can't remember exactly because we had this conversation like a week ago, so it might be kind of off. But it's something of the sort. You put the flashback when Abby was a kid with her dad to justify her killing.
Yeah.
So at least you know why she killed Joel, because at that point you'd be like confused, or maybe it was the opposite way around, something like that. Then you flip to Ellie.
Yeah,
and
just revenge train, bro.
Yeah, then that's when you start that revenge journey with Ellie, and you just play Ellie all the way through. I just feel like the emotions would have it wouldn't have been like that. Playing through Ellie hypes up, then you go back down to Abby. It'd be like you play as Abby, it builds that hype up slowly, or it tries to grab your affection for Abby. Then she kills Joel. Now you have like the second wind of energy to play as Ellie, trying to get this revenge out for Joel. And Joel's death will sit on you even longer, just because it was more recent than there, and because that's one thing a lot of people complain about is where they put Joel's death. Because I think a lot of people did agree Joel needed to die in this game. It's just
100%.
where they put it was like. That people thought of it more as like just for a wow factor, and it had no story purpose, which
Big balls, bro.
Yeah, it was
Big
like
balls.
it was some really big ball energy, but yeah, I don't know if they used Joel's energy towards the middle of the game, like him dying and stuff like that. I feel like it would still make people mad, because then like the first time you see Joel, he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that just comes with Joel's death, though. Like, you can't avoid him being the audience being mad at Joel's death.
Yeah, unavoidable for sure. So with that new order that you're saying, then, where you kind of just flip up the days,
Yeah.
and then you switch perspectives, and then you finish the game through Ellie, does that change? You still keep the ending the same, where she doesn't kill her?
I still everything was kept the same. Like, we were just reordering
just
everything.
Rearranging.
We did say they might have to like change things slightly, to make it make sense.
Yeah, obviously that you can't really get into without just being personal ideas.
Yeah, I think what we also said was Ellie's flashbacks. You put that in the beginning before you actually play Ellie, up and leading into Ellie going to. Just so it gives you that time with Joel at the beginning half.
It gives you that little taste.
I really can't remember.
It's tough.
Like,
It's tough.
I'm telling you, the way we when we first were talking about it, like everything made so much sense. It was like actually crazy. But I'm only remembering fragments right now, but like
Yeah, yeah, it's all good. I mean, it's been almost 3 weeks, so I feel
maybe
it. I
I'll
mean,
yeah,
I
but
mean,
like
I get that. You know, I bet a lot of people either wish that or they just wish Abby was cut out at all. I mean, all, but I mean, I
that
don't
too.
agree with that. But I don't know, dude. It's funny. I was talking to my boy when I beat the game, and actually it was a couple days after he beat the game. So I beat it. A couple days later, he beat it, and then we were talking about it. And he was someone who he liked all the game mechanics. He said gameplay 10 out of 10, which I
Mm-hmm.
agree
Yeah, me too.
to an extent. But he's all like, what lost me is that um, killing, obviously, Abby, playing as Abby kind of dragged it down, and then not killing her at the end, which I thought was interesting. Um, but there's a lot of moves, big brain, big ball sack decisions in this game, and I told him, what I'm about to tell you too is like, we rearranged it ourselves, but
Mm-hmm.
he had his version, I had mine, and honestly, I think from a not like just from a gaming storytelling perspective, dude,
Yeah,
I disagree with you on how messy the pacing felt. To me, it felt, and I mean, this is just me sucking that Sony dick, but
yeah.
or that Naughty Dog dick, and I'm not even trying to, this is just personal. Like I'm going in,
Mm-hmm. No, I feel it.
I went in fresh, but I just genuinely appreciate. I think this is really great storytelling. I think the best way I could describe this whole story, front to back,
Yeah,
when you start the game, to me it feels like the best season of television, that of a show that doesn't exist. You're just because you're playing it's a game, so
yeah,
it felt very TV in a good way, to where it's like you have all these cliffhanger episodes in a sense, the days, right? And
that's
then you
true.
have all
It
this
did
content,
have a lot of that.
and then I like that because I imagine, like, I like the way it's ordered because I
Mm-hmm.
imagine this is all one big season, and it's like I said, I wouldn't change anything from the beginning. I do have some rearrangements that I'll get into, but I think it's a great switch going from you have that mid-season finale where Abby confronts Tommy, roughs him up and shit, and then
Yeah,
you switch to her perspective. You get X amount of episodes with her, right? Because that's hella interesting to me. You get that mid-season finale, you switch over to Abby, you get her episodes, and then you're like, okay, it's her justifiable episodes, quote justifiable, and then you get to the season finale, which is the epilogue. You know what I'm saying? Like
mm.
that's how I took it in as, and I don't have a huge problem with that. As far as that goes, to like you, a little bit like you, I don't think it's the best way to, uh, not the best. I enjoyed it. That's what I'm gonna say.
No, that's what
Obviously,
the two like.
yeah,
Me saying like I would that if that's how I would have it. Like
yeah.
it's
It
not
doesn't break the
saying
game. Yeah,
yeah, it's not saying that I didn't enjoy. Like when I first beat the game, I was like I wouldn't change anything, and like that whatever.
yeah. You
the,
let it sit on you.
Yeah, like the only thing with like us rearranging it was just like, is there a way for it to like maybe have been
Help it,
better
yeah.
in that sense? Like
Yeah,
in terms of
100%.
like catering to like the audience's emotions instead of just like.
Yeah,
But
and going with that, that makes
yeah.
sense with what you're saying with the I like what I like. The biggest takeaway from your rearrangement, or from
Mm.
what you could tell me about it, is if you do that, get that Abby stuff over with, then you kind of get that Scar introductory over with. Because that's what I think. To me, the game was lacking is the involvement of the Scars. The
Same.
Seraphites.
Yeah,
I wanted more of that, and like I
Yep.
wanted more on that island. I didn't want to rush through the island. I would have been fine if there's a day or two, a whole day dedicated to that
Mhm.
island, and really, it not. Don't get me wrong though, like that level is, I think it's one of my favorites of, the Abbey levels in the game in general is
Yeah.
when you're running through the island on fire. Like that shit is crazy, bro.
No, it was
Like,
that
shit
when I
is
saw that
nuts.
scene, that's when it was like 100%. I was like, yo, Abby's sick, like that's when
Yeah,
like it
that's
just
nuts.
solidified.
And that's hella, just the whole way they handled that when you get to the island till when you get off is like just Naughty Dog as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like the scale and like just
Yeah.
how the set pieces, bro. Like, dude, fighting that guy and you cut his jaw, bro.
Bro.
Like, and he's still going at you. What
That's
the
what
fuck
I was, I was
that?
like, yo, this is. I thought Abby was the tank. This guy, and then like, yo, it was kind of gross though when she like grabbed his
Yeah,
jaw
pretty
and
nasty,
like
bro.
rip it, bro. Like it was. I was like, yo, all right, like
Yeah, no,
this
that
is.
shit was crazy, but I definitely wanted more of that. And I know that you get a lot of Scar stuff through the journal entries or the pickups.
But yeah,
But like, dude, give me more of like
visual.
I don't know, give me more like
Yeah,
backstory or like involvement of that the person
that's
they revere as like a god. Like, give me more. I wanted more of that for sure.
yeah. I felt like I want to stay on this topic, but like one thing I did think though is that the for the story they were trying to tell, like well, how long was the game? Like 25 hours, 30, something
Yeah,
like that. But
20,
like
25.
I felt
I'd
like it
round it out in 21.
21. Yeah, I think I was somewhere in the 20s. I can't remember exactly, but like the story they were trying to tell, I feel like it could have been drawn out a little more. Like, just gave us like maybe 10 more hours of just like lore building cuz like the scars and the WLF and they didn't really catch I didn't really care too much about them, but like the scars
No,
were
no,
so
the scars,
interesting
dude.
to me.
100%, dude. Like the wolves, I get it. It's for it's a bunch of fireflies that disbanded and then they just
Yeah.
joined this wolf organization, which I feel like every state or even city could even have their own.
That we were talking about that too, like maybe the WLF was just Seattle's, like firefly
Exactly. That's
thing,
I think that's what it is. Except for it seems like wolves are more because like fireflies obviously were military, but wolves are like
There's
way
hardcore military.
meaner, bro. They're harder, and I feel like they don't have the scientists. You know what I mean? Like they don't have the I don't know. There's just definitely just different factions wherever you
Yeah.
go, which we see later in the epilogue. But yeah, dude, the scars. I just definitely wanted more, and I even wanted. I get it though. Like I get what they're doing.
Mhm.
Just if I'm gonna be selfish, that's what I would add. I'd
Yeah,
add more
exactly.
scar
Like
involvement
that's like
because
from
I
what I
think
wanted. I just wanted to learn more about them, but like I also
yeah, dude,
didn't read every note, so like
me either. To be
I
honest,
can't like the lore was probably there. I
it
didn't
is.
read all of it, so
Yeah,
I can't hold that against them. If they did try and put it
yeah,
there,
that's
but
all me.
yeah, that's what I'm
But
saying. But
and I'm not rushing. I'm just what I was doing is I'm trying to play the game first, not rushing. But I'm not gonna sit there and read every note because I don't want to get spoiled tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, there was
with the
like
game. That's just
yeah,
how I've been playing.
but
But yeah, dude, I didn't ask my cousin. I was talking to my cousin about what he thought about the game, and I was like, yeah, I wanted more of the scars. He's like, and I was like, why do they revere this lady so much? He's like, oh, it's in like the notes, and I'm like, well, damn, I really wish we went into that.
yeah,
Like, which is like, I get it, like that's a Naughty Dog game, and that's a lot of open world games, but it's like, I wanted more of that, and if I'm gonna be selfish, I wanted more Ellie involved in that too, like
yeah,
Ellie encounters with the scars, but I get it because it's like Ellie has the wolf for the most part until she runs into scars, and then Abby, it only makes sense for her to run into wolves towards the end of her journey because she's AWOL,
yeah. That's when she
um,
got caught.
but she needs an enemy type too. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she got the scars, which is pretty crazy.
I love
And
that though.
worse.
Like when you were on the island, you saw the scars, the wolf fighting each other. Like
Dude, that shit was I'm telling you, I needed 5 more hours at least
that's what I'm
on that
saying.
island.
Like I just needed more of that because that was sick.
Yeah, dude, when Isaac like has you at gunpoint and shit, bro, I'm like, dude, this is crazy, bro. This is like straight up
Yeah.
TV shit, like just suspense, man. And like you just run through I'm like, oh, there's easily another day on here or some shit. I was all like, and then you just run through the whole burning city. I'm like, oh, well, there goes the scars. That's it.
Yeah. Like
We outie. But yeah, no, that if I'm gonna be selfish, it's that. So going back to just my end on how I'd rearrange the story, this is just me being selfish
yeah.
again. I know I'm repeating that, but what I would do that I think would make the game better, bro, is like keep everything the same for the most part, right? So you get to the epilogue and keep everything the same there. I'm fine with how it gets to, and then epilogue, right? You go through
Mhm.
it. Dude, Ellie, when she gets strung up by the rattlers and gets that wound on her side, I thought she was gonna go out with Abby. You know what I mean? I thought she was gonna bleed out after taking Abby out, and honestly, I wouldn't have been mad. And if I were Neil Druckmann, I would have been like, she's gonna get this wound. She's not gonna stitch herself up because that's a lot of blood she lost from hanging
Yeah.
upside down.
No, that was.
And she don't have time to stitch herself up. She's trying to get revenge out here. So if I would have written it, it would have been she gets that wound and like, cause dude, as soon as I saw that wound, I'm like, and she looks at it and I'm like, fuck, dude, she's going out. Like Ellie's done. Like she's gonna bleed out. I'm like, and she's weak the whole time. Like she's even tripping on the beach on the way to Abby.
Yeah.
You get to Abby, you do the fight, and I'm not saying this makes the game better, I think that's the only thing I would have had is, to be honest. Fuck, dude. I don't know. This is where I get
Just say it,
complicated.
dog.
This is where
Just
it gets
say it.
complicated for me because it's either it could go two ways, but this is why I'm not writing stories, right? It could
Yeah.
go two ways. Abby does get killed. Ellie does finish her. Ellie gets her revenge, and then Ellie bleeds out on the beach, which I think would have been just as impactful. But obviously, what they're trying to get to you in the original game is, that she's trying to break the cycle of revenge,
Yeah.
and understanding that she's just doing what Ellie's doing now, and Ellie's just like, fuck, like I lost everything because of this shit. And
Yeah.
I think what breaks that decision is how Lev is involved, right? If Lev wasn't there, I think Ellie would have done it, if that makes sense. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
because
If Lev
Lev
wasn't in
is
the
kind of
boat.
like her. It was kind of like young Ellie, and then Abby was Joel in that situation. Like, like that's
Yeah, but I mean, not even that. Like Abby's. Oh, actually, yeah, 100% like that. Like Abby's straight turned around. Like she could have killed Ellie in the theater, like she says.
yeah, like
And she lets him go because Abby's like, I already got my revenge. Like this is not what. I mean, that's how I interpreted it. Like she got Joel. That's all she lived for. And now she's like, all right, well, fuck the wolves, and Lev's cool. I'm gonna take care of him. So it's like, I definitely feel for that, and that's what they're trying to drive home at the end. But if I'm gonna be selfish, and I think that's how I would have done it. Killed Abby, have Ellie bleed out on the beach. Lev is already gone. Cause dude, when the Rattlers catch Abby and Lev gets fucking rocked in the face. And
yo, that boy.
He hits the garage, dude. I thought he's dead. I thought he's dead right there.
I remember know
That boy
exactly
was
what you're
out.
talking about. That boy got slapped, bro.
Dude, I'm telling you, if the punch didn't kill him, his head hitting the garage killed him, bro. That's what I'm saying. But I don't know, that's just how I would have done it personally. Is like, 'cause
Yeah.
that's what I was expecting. But this whole game, Naughty Dog just like, you're not gonna expect one thing.
That
in my
that,
opinion.
that was 100% it though. Like I did not expect this is the story. I did not think this is what part 2 was gonna be, but
But
I loved it though. Like what they gave us though. Like for not even just for what it is. Like I just loved the entire
the
story.
experience.
Yeah.
I definitely had a great experience. Obviously. I mean, shit, dude. I don't know. It's very divisive and controversial, which I get, but I don't get how there's a lot of people blowing it way out of proportion, and like people just want to be haters, bro. Like
They do?
I think it's a great game. I think.
Yeah, they're just hating on it because like I tried. This was like the worst mistake of my life, but I tried to like talk with Twitter people, and I'm never gonna do it again because those people
Oh no, bro.
they don't use their brains. It's just so biased, bro. Like
Yeah,
they
you're
just-
asking for trouble.
yeah, like that was like the worst decision of my life. But like they're just hating, bro. Like they're just that's all I could think of. Like because I was trying to like pull up arguments, like just for the sake of like conversing.
Nah, don't matter. It don't matter.
They
dude.
were just calling me stupid and stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah, no.
I mean that doesn't. I don't care if you call me stupid, but I'm like, come on, bro. I'm just trying to.
I know.
I just want to
Well,
talk
then you
about
can't have
the
an
game,
argument.
Yeah, it's
you
not
can't
even.
have a smart argument.
Yeah, we're just.
And it's not about arguing to make them mad. It's just literally just debating.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like, this
arguing.
is why I think this is good, and tell me a good reason why you think it's bad. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of them got spoiled from the leaks because that was one of the things that got leaked. One of the biggest leak is that
Actually,
Abby
yeah.
kills Joel with a golf club. And
Did you check the entire league? Like what actually?
Fuck no, dude. Fuck no, dude.
I mean, like even like after beating the game. Like I don't mean before.
No, I think I tried looking it up, and I tried looking it up via Twitter, and I was like, Last of Us 2 leaks, and just everything came up with people talking. The game's already been out, and people are all like, oh yeah, I can't believe it. Like I couldn't find what got leaked exactly. All I know is that Joel's death and how it happened was a huge leak, and why there's hella people saying, oh, I'm gonna cancel my pre-order. We know the whole story. Rewrite the game, and it's like, dude, you guys are fucking crazy, dude. Like,
yeah, I mean, especially if like I'm not saying that was the only thing leaked because I didn't check, but like if that was the only thing, like the biggest thing on that list that was leaked, Joel dies, and
not
that
even
was
a
like
big deal.
yeah, that was like the first 10 minutes of game. It's like that you don't know the
That-
story.
Yeah. And I fucking I mean, not just me, anyone could have called it, but like what I've been saying day one since Last of Us 2 came out is like,
He's gonna.
I
die.
know, I expect Joel to die. It wouldn't
Yeah.
make sense. It's like, where are you gonna take the story? You know,
Mhm.
it's like, I just didn't know it was gonna be fucking first hour, bro.
Yeah, like that's what
You know?
shook me, bro. I was like, You can't do this. Is some Attack on Titans kind of deal
Dude,
going
that was
on.
straight up Attack on Titan, bro. That's like you're gonna, dude. Watch season 4 is gonna open. Aaron's dead.
Joel's gonna be never mind. But no, like, what's something I want to talk about earlier? It's more about the ending.
The ending. Okay. I mean, how did you interpret it? Did you like? Cause like I was saying.
Oh yeah,
Obviously, how I interpreted it is just ending the cycle of violence.
yeah. It was like
Ellie
ending the
realizing
cycle
she's,
of
like,
violence.
Just, yeah.
But like that whole stab wound on the tree. Like for me, in my mind, I didn't think Ellie was gonna die from that. One, because like I've been shot at this whole game. Yeah, I hate when games like oh this whole I'm fighting everybody. I'm getting shot like billions of times, and then like this one tree stab like is what's gonna take me out. Like I hate when like something so small takes a character out like that. But so I don't know. My mind never like thought like oh she's gonna die, but like I thought of it more as like it was a reminder for Ellie to like oh you know this is turn back. This is not. This is
Yeah.
you know it was like the world trying to tell her to stop, and
Yeah, it's literally like law of attraction.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of just like, dude, just shittier things are gonna keep happening.
yeah, and like, I see they didn't kill Ellie, and I think I agreed with you in that though. Like if they should have killed Abby and Ellie, but I think they just kind of left space for part 3, like they the same thing they did for part 1, but
Bro, okay.
in the event
Wait,
that
let's just
would
get
make
into
one.
it.
Yeah.
So real quick, I just want to say when I beat the game, I was on the high horse. I was bouncing on that Naughty Dog dick, and I was all like, dude, best game. Like this is so fucking sick.
Yeah.
And then that's obviously you're just high off the game. That was me
Mhm.
personally, and that's what happens with a lot of things that I take in, which is understandable. So I always just let it run through a few days before I start saying my opinion on anything, or a couple days, let it sit with
Yep.
me.
Me too.
And then as the days go by, I'm like, yeah, no, it's definitely not like best game ever. Like to
Mhm.
me, like it's just how much do I want to replay? Like right now, I'm replaying just because I want one more run through of the story and I want the platinum. So that's literally it. I'm not what the thing I'm most addicted about in this game.
But
Like
you
we're
said
talking about addiction, where I appreciate the story.
addiction.
I love the story. I think the story's 9 or 10 out of 10.
Mhm.
But if what I'm addicted to most is that gameplay, bro. Like that shit is fire to me.
Mhm.
Like I loved everything about the gameplay, but yeah, just slowly realizing after I'm like, yeah, I was just high off this. This is really good. And at the end of the day, I think it's a worthy successor and a sequel.
Same.
But it's definitely not. And this isn't even a bad thing. It's just not
The
best of all time. You know what I mean? It's not my God of War. If that's like
Yeah.
what I wanted to get into, is God of War is still my number 1. And right when I hit credits, I'm like, fuck, dude, God of War might be number 2 or it's tied. And then after a couple days sit, I'm like, nah, bro, like God of War is like there's nothing. I'll replay that game right now, and it'll be fire as fuck.
Yeah.
I won't complain about one thing, But that's pretty much it. But if you want to get into, bro, like you think there's gonna be a part 3 for real?
Not saying there is gonna be one, but they definitely left room for one if they wanted to make one.
What do you think is gonna? I mean, this is Naughty Dog, and just what they did with this game is like it'll be nothing that we expect. But bro, what would be your idea of a part 3 if it were to happen? Like
The
you're saying they
only
left room
thing
for it.
I could think of for them to have reason to leave both characters alive was because the last thing Abby was doing was finding fireflies. She's gonna go to fireflies.
Yeah, they
One,
made a
they
big deal about
never
that.
they never showed Marlene, so Marlene still definitely has presence in this game or in the.
Dog, are you kidding? Bro, Marlene died
Wait, she did?
at the end of last. Yeah, Joel killed her because remember she stops Joel while he has Ellie in his arms before. It's like the last cutscene before they get to Jackson, and Marlene's like just trying to convince Joel not to do it, and Joel's like, he shoots her, bro, like from under Ellie, like.
Bro, I
he's
really
like, "You
should have.
just-"
I should have finished my grounded playthrough.
Yeah,
All right.
Joel's like, you just try to, you'll find someone or some shit. Like Joel's like, nah, like I'm not letting you do this, and then kills her. So Marlene's dead.
But even reason without that, like I mean,
Your Firefly thing. Go
the
for it.
fireflies, the fact that they even in Ellie's little flashback at the museum, they showed that fireflies are I
Like
can't
lied.
remember, yeah,
Whatever.
are lies or whatever it said. Like the fact that they had so much controversy on the fireflies still, for me that's like still like they had enough to like bring the
What
Fireflies
are you gonna
back.
do though? What are you gonna? Who do you play as? It's just Abby.
You play as Abby, and then Ellie's still alive. She lost literally everything. So what's her purpose? You know, she said it with Joel. Like Joel took her purpose, you know, from her, and that's why she hated Joel so much. But like now, Ellie could have the she has a chance to decide whether she wants to give her life away for the cure. Like, you know, assuming that we find
Okay, I
another
never
doctor.
thought about that. Huh? I never thought about that.
So
Damn,
like you
okay.
have Ellie now. She literally has nothing for her in her life, and like her only option now, like to do good, was just to give her life away. Like, and
Like, I'm
to
not
me,
saying that's yeah.
what that's like that'd be so sad. Like when you think about Ellie's life, like
It would be, but dude, I feel like
it
I
does
wouldn't want a
also.
part three.
But yeah,
I
like
wouldn't
I
want it.
kind of don't want one, but like if they did want to make one, I feel like that's what it
Yeah.
would be.
See, I'd still be. I've been saying this since
I'd
part
still
two
buy
got
it,
announced.
though.
Is like I don't want it to be a trilogy. I don't want it to be more. Like I think it ended at very depressing. I don't think every story needs a happy ending. Like
I don't think so either.
because she had. I didn't think about that thing about giving her life up because they do make a point to keep mentioning fireflies. You know, Santa Barbara, like Owen and stuff. Like
Yep.
yeah, and like Abby trying to find them. It's like because they did disband, and then why are they starting up again? Is it because there's another lead on a cure or what? You know, I didn't. So that it does. It's definitely interesting, but it's like, what do we get out of that if she gives her life for the cure, happy ending, and like everything's gone? Is that really like worth it? And now, we've already lost Joel. Ellie has no one. You know, fucking Tommy's fucked up and thinks. I mean, Ellie's probably not going to go back to Jackson because
Yep.
then
She can't show her
she's going
face.
to be like, oh yeah, I didn't kill her. I found her, but I didn't kill her. So she has no one. You know, fucking Dina dipped out, rightfully so. I definitely agree, rightfully so. Just obsessed with revenge, but I get it too. You know, she had that PTSD, but
Yep.
it's very bleak, and I think they should leave it alone. Like, I'm satisfied. And I definitely know, not even hating on the character. I don't know, obviously, if there's a third game, you know I'm about to pre-order that collector's edition, but
That's all I'm saying.
if there's a third game, though, I just see it being based around Abby, which isn't a bad thing. I got my fill of The Last of Us, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
But see, that's
all.
what
That's all I'm trying to say.
for me, like I didn't want a third one, but like the way they set these two characters off, like like one, I want to play more as Abby. Like I just loved that Abby gameplay. When I saw her throwing hands, bro, I was like, yo, don't even give me a gun. Just let me punch everything. But like,
Dude, yeah.
but like, so the thing about for part two for me, like part one for me, I felt like I didn't even need a part two. I mean, I think you said
100%.
like,
Wasn't necessary. It could have ended, just cliffhanger, which is fine. And it's
But
just
they-
open-ended.
yeah, but they still gave us one, and you know, like I loved it even more. So like, for me, it's like they have so much lore they could still go on. We still have Lev Alive too. Like, for me, it's like, why would you introduce a bunch of these new characters and give them
True.
10 hours of gameplay and then never, you know, end the story there? So like, what if like there's a bigger scheme? Like, all I could think of was like everyone saying, spoilers, Attack on Titan season 1 and 3 is a prologue to season 4. It's like, what if like lore wise we just got into like the surface level of this game, like what it has to
Oh
offer?
god.
So like,
That would be. I mean, they
'cause
could though. They could
it's
easily pull
Naughty
it off.
Dog.
It's Naughty Dog.
Like they
Yeah.
just give us what we don't expect, you know? Like what if like what happens from this point on is going to be like just wild. Like we're going to get like just the most like I don't know though, cuz like to me
Yeah.
like a character like Ellie after everything she's been through, now that she's literally lost everything and she is the only cure to humanity. She is like her life is the most valuable in
Mhm.
that world, and she has nothing to live for. Like that to me, like there's just so much like tension around that
Yeah, to
character
go
that
off. Yeah, there's definitely more story that you could make out of it. I know I couldn't write it, but
Yeah.
you know, if they did a third, it's gonna be insane. I mean, yeah, I can see that. And like I said, if there's a third one, you know, I'm gonna jump on it. But I'm good if there's never another Last of Us.
That's what I'm saying.
Major story game.
we don't
You know?
need it, but like if they gave it to us, which you know, I mean, like you know, like I'd still buy it. So you know,
Dude, oh, just a random thought that came up. Like, I'm thinking about the combat, bro, and like, cause you said you love the Alley or the Abby gameplay. And like, dude, I love the Ellie gameplay so much because, bro, it's like, I mean, I've never played through a full one, but to me, playing as Ellie, the way I played it with, which was bow and arrow for the
Same.
majority, and then silenced pistol, bro, and shoddy. Dude, it's the best Metal Gear Solid game. Like sneaking and shit, and like laying down, going prone, and having the
See,
silencer and shit. You know
that's
what
what
I'm
I
saying? I don't know.
tried to turn it to, but I think me being on hard would just made it like a little too like, all right, you can't. It's not supporting this play style of like,
Yeah.
cause like for me the way I like to play is like I'll stealth group an area and then like kind of start off attention and draw attention to that area and reposition, which I kind of I want to kind of talk about the gameplay more in a different area, probably not for this like exact conversation that we're having just exactly right now. But
Mhm.
like I did find a lot of exploits in the gameplay, in terms of like how it's set up and how to easily like manipulate a battle
Cheese.
to yeah. So like
Yeah.
that's one thing for me that like kind of took away from the gameplay was that I was able to find like I found like three exploits like it kind of
I,
sucked, but I mean I purposely did the fight still,
yeah. You want
just
that experience.
it was just fun, you know, like it was just fun to do the
Mhm.
fights. um
I I didn't find hell of. I just know one exploit that is low key in the first game too. It's like, to be honest, bro, if you run fast enough and duck, you could just skip through sections. Like,
no, like I mean it was that was still present and that was one of the exploits in here, like towards that
that's what
last
I'm
end
saying.
with
Yeah, it's in this
Abby,
one
like
too.
especially with the scars and the WLF fighting, you could literally just run
Dude,
past everybody, like
bro, I don't know what you did. I'm just saying, this is me justifying why I did this. When I was on that island and everything's going crazy, shit's on fire, and as soon as Abby and Lev say, "Let's just get out of here, let's go to the boats," I didn't hit every fight, bro. I ran through it because
no,
in the
yeah,
to be honest, I felt how I play the game is like I want to do what Abby would do, what Ellie would do in that
yeah.
scenario. I'm not gonna be sitting every fight. There's a horse. I'm gonna take that shit. We're going. Like let's just go.
No,
And
that's
we
what
ran
I
through
did
it.
too. Like,
And
I would
I skipped through
only
like two
engage.
battles.
Yeah, I would only engage the people that like actually like broke.
Gave
You
you
know,
attention.
yeah. Like if somebody was in about to like catch me, I would kill them, and you know I
Yeah.
did get caught every once in a while, and I'd have to like. That was actually the most fun I've had was when I was doing that, where I was like just fighting people and that I needed to fight and not killing everybody. Um,
Mhm.
Especially in that giant field that they had you fight in the island, because it just
Yeah.
felt like it gave me that like Metal Gear Solid feel, gameplay where you take out a group and like everyone's like kind of communicating with each other like, oh, she's over here, and you're just like repositioning and like getting a new drop on like a new area
Mhm.
like that. Just
Flanking. Yeah.
yeah, like that whole thing felt nice, but I just wish there was
Definitely did.
more open areas to fight in.
Yeah, but that's kind of just not what the game is. But when it does introduce it, it's fire.
Yeah, I mean it's Seattle though. Like Seattle is
Hmm.
it's a building. Like it's not an open field. You know, like so it makes sense why
Yeah.
it is.
Well, shit. What do you think you would want? I think we kind of dipped into it every now and then. But is there anything you'd want to add for like, what would you want more or less of? Like, I mean, we kind of just sprinkled that through every conversation. But is there
Mm.
anything that you missed? You think that you would want more of or less of in the game?
Just more like more big battles, as in like the
Set
clickers,
pieces.
the WLF, the scars, all fighting each other. Like I just like those
Yeah.
giant engagements. That's what I felt like this game's like the combat where it really shined was where like you just had these all out fights. But I also the one thing I didn't like in this game, which I call it the Destiny treatment. I don't know if you ever played Destiny, but there's
Yeah, I
like
did.
three alien factions and you're the Guardians. But the moment you show your face, everybody in that room will start
On you.
looking at yeah, like it's like you guys were just fighting each other. Why are you looking at me? You know, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just me in the position I was at, but the moment I showed my face, everybody in that room would be shooting at me. So
No,
like,
I ran into that too, and I assumed that, oh, there's like multiple battles going on here. The scars are probably just gonna stay on the walls, but I'm like, nope, they're all on me. Like,
well, yeah,
I
but
get it. It's a video game, but it would be cool if it was like more hyper realistic, where it's like the AI is like, okay, there's two enemy AI factions, and one's like, well, I'll deal with the player after I deal with this fucker, because otherwise we're both open. You know what I mean? Like that'd be crazy.
Yeah. The
That'd be
only
some big
part I
brain
could
shit.
justify it to was like logically, like my positioning where I was Abby when they started shooting at me, like say if I was behind the scars, it would make sense for all the scars to shoot at me too,
Yeah,
because
100%.
I'm
Because
right
they're
next
trying
to
to,
them. I'm the
yeah,
closest
instant
threat.
kill.
But the WLF kept on shooting me too, which was like, all right. I was like, all right, buddy. You're being an AI.
You're a fucking robot.
Yeah, you're a robot, bro. But I mean, it didn't like hinder the gameplay for me. It's just like stuff like I don't know. That's just what I noticed when I play like games where like you're
Mhm.
for the most part you're fighting CPU. I just
Dude,
hate it when like
another.
they feel like CPU. If that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, where it's like it breaks your immersion.
Yeah.
Dude, the fucking I just think the game, which is one of the things I'm thinking of too, is like I love the way they introduce. There's not many. Um, I mean, this is me talking coming off the first game hella quick, like the week before, but there's not many tutorials. But when there are, like I think they introduce them so good. Like like the swimming one with Ellie. Even though swimming's it's easy stuff, but it's like the way they introduce it in the game is so great. Like how it's flashbacks for the most part, and like
Yeah.
sniping with Tommy. Just stuff like little things like that. I like really appreciated. Like
Yeah.
I think that was fire. Like I just there's a lot of care handled for sure.
There
Um,
was. That's one thing too. Like there was so much care on the game. Like that I can't like
oh,
that's what make for me that's what makes it gives it that masterpiece style title too because
yeah,
like if you follow some of the developers like just like
I
like
do.
especially the
Neil.
animation developers like
Oh my god, the rope, dude. Did you see that?
that rope one was crazy like that's
That I
like
didn't even think about that playing, but then seeing it, I'm like, what? You could do all that? That's insane.
that what else was there was so many but like the amount of
Just physics.
technical like in terms of game like it being a game like the amount of like technical work they did for it was like it's actually insane like
Yeah, I
they
don't know if you played Breath of the Wild, but it reminded me of that because there's a lot of physics,
I
like
played it a little but I didn't really
achievements.
I kind of want to touch it
in
again
there.
but just didn't.
Yeah, it's super impressive, dude. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Naughty Dog game, and I will stand by. They don't miss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm still in that category. I don't think they missed either, but it's just
Well,
it's not what we expected, but that doesn't mean it's bad, in my
hmm
opinion.
What would you say, and like, how does it, how does it compare to the first game?
I loved it
Not
more than the
gameplay wise,
first.
because the first game gameplay, it's like what the second one does is makes it so much better, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But like, as a whole experience and the story, what, how does it compare to the part one?
I even tweeted this out to Neil, but I didn't do it the right hashtag, so I don't think he saw it. But
Mhm.
like I was like, yo, like you guys somehow managed to get that same feeling of like the first game for the ending, but like made it even better. Like I think this game was like so much better than the first game.
Oh,
Like
you think this one is?
yeah, in terms of story,
Okay, yeah.
gameplay, I feel like gameplay like it could already be said that's better. Like I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
Yeah. Now, to me, I think, dude, the first one's so good, right?
It's
The first
good.
one was my all-time before God of War, and God of War came in and said, "Sorry, fam, but I'm not mad about it." Anyways, the first one, dude. What I think the second one does best is it literally improves on every aspect, like
Mhm.
by 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And like you said, I don't know how they did it, but they fucking did, man. And
So I was like,
think
you guys just did it. I don't know.
And
I can't explain it.
why I think it's better is like story wise is because this story is fresh as fuck, and I liked it. You could like it or hate it, but I
Mhm.
liked it, right? I enjoyed it, and I didn't. This whole game subverts expectations in the best way.
Yep.
The first game, not even to rag on it, but someone made a good point on a podcast I was listening to about the first game, and they weren't ragging on it, but a good thing they brought up was that the first game, literally, it's actually very tropey. Like, it doesn't do a lot new aside
No,
from
that's
Joel at
100%.
the ending. You know, the
Yep.
ending where that's pretty much it. And but what makes the first one so great is how it's super tropey, filled with hella tropes like, oh, someone we know in our party's infected. Oh, we gotta leave someone because they're infected. They're gonna die. Oh, I'll take over for you guys. You guys get out of here. I'm infected. Or knowing, oh, it's my brother. Oh shit, we're safe. It's like just shit like that, like super tropey zombie movie survival tropes. But what the first one does so well is how it still makes it feel fresh because you like care at the end of the day, and they handle it so well. It being Naughty Dog, the writing, everything. You know what I mean? Like it still makes it feel fresh. But if you really think about it, it's nothing's really original until the ending.
100%.
That's the second game. You can't fucking predict shit. Like this is straight up big brain storytelling. You know what I'm saying? Like I think this is Naughty Dog at their best, top tier, all around, whether you like it or not. But that's just how I feel about it. It doesn't mean there isn't flaws, but at the end of the day, I think it's crowning achievement and it's top tier, right next to like with Uncharted 4. You know what I mean? Like like both all the games. It's just crazy, bro. It's insane.
That's one thing I feel like number 2 just had to suffer was the shadow of number 1, because like if you held number 1 on a pedestal like a lot of people were doing, like it's not gonna, like I remember Troy Baker before the game even released, he said to understand part 2 you have to like really look at it with an open mind. And I don't even necessarily think he was saying, oh, you have to have an open mind. It's that they kind of knew, knowing
that
what happens in the story.
Divisive.
Yeah, like it is gonna be literally them taking down everything you loved in number 1. Not even like sabotaging it, but like it's just like the story of loss. Like like I don't think
revenge.
Exactly. I don't think any other piece of entertainment has like captured like loss to this degree. Like you literally lost everything, and there was never like a good redeeming part of it. Like everything was just a loss. Like it was take this L the game. Like it was like compared to the first one where like there's always like, oh, you're in bad situation. Like you said, it was very tropey, which like when I thought about the game when I was going, especially when I was like in Abby's part, it's when I started thinking about it a lot. Like number 1 really, like those tropes for me did not, the only thing that made it stand out was Joel and Ellie, like as a character. Like they literally did every trope you could imagine for like a apocalypse thing. Like there was nothing like technically unique about them, but like there was.
It's the characters and the way they handle it, man. Like it's just so well done. Like,
it's just like that Naughty Dog touch, like you said. Like they just know how to like, if they want you to like something, they're gonna
make you.
They're gonna make you like it no matter what they do. Like
they shoving that down your throat, bro.
Like exactly, like I said, I was like never in any universe did I think they were gonna get me to like Abby, but I liked her more than Ellie at the end of the game. So it's
That's crazy. I disagree, but I totally get it, and I don't hate Abby. I like Abby. I like her arc. But
it's just liking her more than Ellie.
I like that you're saying that. Like it's just I didn't expect it. It's a good little show that we're not the same person. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I don't know. There's just so many things. I could talk on and on, but I feel like it's definitely just going to be one to talk about for a while.
That's what I think makes a masterpiece too, though. Like if you can talk about, like just talk about it, like. And like,
just like the first game, right? You can talk about it. We talked about it up until the release, and like we're still talking about the first game. Yeah, but I definitely agree with that statement. And like, yeah, God, man, I don't know. I'm enjoying my second run. I'm about to get that plat probably this week, and then I don't know. I guess before we wrap things up, bro. I mean, do you have any other things to say about it, or anything you want to touch on?
I don't think so, but.
Because I just have one more thing to like get into before we wrap it up. Is, bro, where does it land on your what's your game of the year look like right now?
Game of the year. I'll tell you what. This game 100% beat Death Stranding in my opinion. This game,
no shit.
Like you said earlier, that's one thing I forgot to touch back on. Like, it did what Death Stranding tried to do. Like, in terms of its story. Like, Death Stranding had the most awkward story pacing, like for me. Like I was on the high for the longest time, but once I got over it, I was like, all right, it's all right. It's it's obvious flaws like stood out, but I don't know. I don't know what it is for game of the year though. I feel like I haven't played enough games this year to even like
as of right now, because last time I spoke with you about it, you said Final Fantasy VII Remake is your game of the year.
Yeah,
So
Final
it's
Fantasy
like-
7 would still be it.
You think that's still over Last of Us?
Yeah, but Final Fantasy 7 got like I'm biased though. Like that doesn't
No,
really
no,
count.
that's
like
totally fine though. I mean, as long as if it's your God of War, it's your God of War. You know.
that's
what
what
I'm
I'm
saying?
saying. Like
So that's totally justifiable. I'm just me personally, bro. I mean, it probably doesn't come as a surprise to anyone that knows it's me or us listening to this, but it's like this is Last of Us Part 2 for sure my game of the year. I
Yeah.
don't see anything beating it out, and anything that would probably be Cyberpunk, which to be honest, love what they're doing, and I'm super interested. I'm gonna play the fuck out of it. I don't think it's gonna beat it.
I don't either.
I don't think it's
Unless
and
it like the story just becomes like that. Oh, because we don't know a lot about the
we
story.
don't. But I'm just saying I don't see it happening.
Yep.
But as of right
They-
now, Last of Us Part 2 is my game of the year, and the only thing I could beat it, or even compare, would be Cyberpunk, which again, don't think it's going to happen, or only other thing I know coming out, which was recently just announced, is Spider-Man Miles Morales. And again, I don't think that'll beat it, but it might.
Oh wait,
but,
Ghost of Tsushima could maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Fuck, I totally forgot about Ghost, dude.
I literally forgot about it until just now. We're
See?
gonna be playing that next week. What the?
Dude, what with Ghost, bro? I totally forgot about that. So that's another thing that has a potential to stand a fighting chance. But the thing with Ghost, it's either going to be a sleeper hit. Don't expect it being as fire as it is, or it's like it's going to be right up there. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
don't know what to expect. All I know is that I'm fucking stoked for that, dude.
yeah, like that is my dream game right now. I've been like on the biggest samurai high for like
Mhm.
a year. Like I play D&D for the people that don't know that's watching this. And like my character is a samurai, and like I've just been doing samurai everything for whatever I can be doing. So like
Nah, I feel it. Demon
I don't
Slayer,
know.
bro.
Exactly. Like I think it was Demon Slayer that brought me on the samurai high.
It's
but,
definitely
like,
been helped me. I mean, I've always liked samurais, but I'm fucking hyped, dude. I think so. Just going into that, man. Next episode. I mean, I don't know. We could decide. We don't have to decide right now. It could either be Ghost of Tsushima, but that'll probably be a week or two after
Yeah.
it's been out, or we could try to schedule something for our Final Fantasy VII remake if you're trying to hit that too, because I'm more than down.
Okay, we can't hit that until you
Oh, OG until I beat OG.
not even beat, or at least you get out of Midgar, which
All right, that's fine.
You might
I'll
be
do it.
like an hour or two away from getting out of Midgar, honestly.
Probably, bro. That shit is flying by. But after I get
But
this platinum in the last,
I would
I'm gonna
prefer it if you
go
beat
back.
the game, though. If we did actually, now that I think about it, like,
Oh no, me too. So if you want, we could totally wait and we could just
Yeah.
hit Ghosts.
because I'm telling you right now, I will spoil the whole game for you in that podcast.
Yeah, don't do
that. So like, that's why I'm like, we should just wait. So you know, because
Alright, man. Well,
I can't talk about anything good in Final Fantasy VII unless somebody knows
Yeah.
what I know.
then I'll just beat OG and then we could circle back to that in the future. Probably after Ghost is Tsushima because Cyberpunk is delayed anyway. So
Yeah.
maybe episode 2 we could hit Ghost of Tsushima. And honestly, to anyone who's still listening at this point, it's like we're video games, movies, and TV, but I don't see movies being a thing for a while because theaters are closed, and also
Yep.
there isn't anything hot coming out until Tenet, which I would love to talk about Tenet when that comes out. Next Christopher Nolan movie.
I have literally not like kept up with the movie scene since
Yeah, it's harder
whatever
now.
like yeah, exactly, it's harder now, but like even like whatever the last movie we saw together was like the last time I like even checked the movies. Like it's been
What
that
was
long.
that, bro?
I don't know. I just-
Spider-Verse? Was that Spider-Verse, bro?
I think so. I don't. I can't
Wow.
remember, bro.
Well,
But
do
like,
yourself a favor and look at. I mean, you like Christopher Nolan, right? Dark Knight, fucking
Yeah.
Inception. Fucking look up if you ever have time, if you want to. Tenet, that his new movie coming out looks fucking sick. And
I think
if
I
you
did
wanna
remember
watch
seeing the trailer for that when we were
Yeah.
in theaters, but
I mean,
yeah.
shit, yeah. Unless that comes out, if that comes out on streaming, we could hit that review or discussion, and then other than that, I think look forward to the Ghost of Tsushima one, right? You want to hit that one?
100%, bro. I'm about to.
Dude, me too, bro. I'm fucking stoked. I can't believe we're just getting banger after banger.
I wanted that collector's so I could just wear that mask for the coronavirus.
Bro, I got it coming in, man.
I'm about to pay someone $400 on eBay.
Watch it be fire, dude. You just do it. But I mean, it'll be worth it. So yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. We will get Final Fantasy VII Remake once I beat OG, which would be in the next couple months here. And then other than that, I don't know. We'll keep y'all posted.
Yep.
All right. Until next time.
All right. Until next time.
Cue that
friends.
outro music. All right. I'm gonna stop my recording right